everybody, and welcome to Raising Vibrations. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the sun sign forecasts for the month of February. And in last month's description, I shared a little bit about the way in which the sun sign and the ascendant work together and why these solar cycles are important to watch and listen to. And in today's discussion, little opener, I'm going to be talking about something that's really fascinating, to be honest. It's always been a way in which we've understood astrology. And today we're going to be talking about something called a neutrino. Okay, the neutrino stream, the neutrino field, the neutrino ocean, however you wish to find it. It is the Aquarian age, in my opinion, word or terminology for the word for prana or energy or chi that we have labeled as a way to understand information and the way in which we experience this universe. So what is energy? What is the way in which we are having consciousness and the way in which we understand the spectrum of light? So neutrino and the neutrino stream is a neutrino itself is a very small particle, okay? It's actually smaller than an atom, and its mass basically penetrates through atoms. And basically what happens with a neutrino is that it contains information, okay, of everything that it passes through. So it permeates the totality of our entire reality in which we experience, and that is how we actually get to understand the astrology impacting us, how we get the planetary archetypes, and how the information passes through us. Okay, it's no coincidence that in the ancient times, we would have a lot of teachings, esoteric teachings, in which the sun would be a way in which we would absorb photon energy, and we would basically have our cellular memory activated through that experience. That's why, if you notice on the internet, there's a lot of things about sun gazing or, spending a great deal of time activating yourself through the sun. The same, obviously, with plants and stuff. It's not a coincidence. And so the information that moves through our reality is this thing called the neutrino ocean, the neutrino stream. And like I said, it was prana, chi, energy, however you wish to describe it. And there's, like I said, these little small particles that are incredibly tiny. They're incredibly tiny, okay? And then in the description below, I've got some links for everybody to go and read and check this out and to educate yourself on, because it's a really fascinating thing to do. Science is really trying to understand this in a very deep way. And so what the neutrino does is it basically moves through the sun, and the sun permeates these neutrinos, and as it basically comes through Earth and it moves through our body, we have all the information imprinting our consciousness, imprinting our body. And this process is the way in which these planetary energies influence us, like I said. All right. And it's according to a system of knowledge, 70% of the neutrino is actually coming from the sun, and the rest of it comes from the universe in itself. And the collapsed stars permeate information. And as it moves through us, through everybody, okay, it moves through us and it basically sticks on us for information, and it moves through and carries information. And that's how we basically are evolving our consciousness, which is why I've come to understand that these sun sign forecasts are really powerful pieces of information to understand, because the fact that we can have the sun sign, so my sun sign Scorpio, your sun sign whatever, the sun, as it basically manifests itself and it permeates the earth, and the neutrino information goes through the sun and through your chart, it activates your consciousness, it activates your template. And this template basically reflects to you the nature of how your consciousness is evolving in this lifetime. So watching your astrology has become something so fascinating to me even more, because as it opens up this dimension of reality, we get to see how much the universe is consistently supporting us with what we have come here to evolve. And that's why, for me, understanding these sun sign forecasts and understanding them through an evolutionary cycle has brought an immense amount of wow, I really actually like this. I really actually enjoy understanding how these things are influencing us in a massive way, more so than I had in the past. So neutrinos, neutrino stream, this is how this information gets imprinted through us. And I wanted to share a picture with everybody over here. Let me just go over to the screen and you can still hear me. And on the right-hand side, you see a guy standing over there and the sun permeating the neutrinos, the information being reflected from the sun. The sun contains light. The light is obviously what we are in consciousness, and that moves through us. And there are approximately 65 billion neutrinos moving through your body every minute. So the capacity for us to actually experience these neutrinos moving through us is so incredibly large. And you can see on the left-hand side over here, the sun, neutrinos from the sun, right? It basically comes from the center of the sun and it moves through all the planetary systems and permeates through Earth. And that's how we obviously are impacted by this. And it's really, really fascinating. And like I said in the description below, there's a couple of links that you can click on to go and read more about this and see some of the experiments that science is doing at the moment to capture this. And according to the way in which they've been able to capture this, only 6% of the 65 million neutrinos has science been able to actually put it down and say, hey, we can spot these things called the ghost particle. So this is a really, really fascinating thing for us to be able to actually track the way in which our consciousness is being imprinted from the neutrino stream. And we're having this happen to us all the time. That's how the nature of the universe moves through us. And we're constantly watching this process just unfold in our way. So really fascinating stuff. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little introduction. And coming up right now is your sun sign forecasts. Hi, my Sagittarius friends, and welcome to your sun sign forecast for the month of February 2017. Hope you're well, and I hope you enjoyed the introduction video on the neutrino field and how that basically impacts and carries the information through the sun, and how we basically evolve through these planetary archetypes, and why astrology can be such a powerful tool when we're recognizing what it's about, and how these cycles actually influence and shape the way that we experience our lives. Okay, so let's get into your chart for this month, and let's see what themes are going to be coming up for you that you get to be aware of and watch, and of course develop deep insight and awareness from. Now, the first place we're going to go to with regards to our solar cycles is Pluto. And the reason why, again, is because Pluto correlates to the bottom line. This is the evolutionary intention, right? Death and rebirth that plays for all of us. So with Pluto still moving through your second house, your solar second house, you're dealing deeply with the dynamics of what is your self-worth, what abundance do you have in yourself, your ability to survive, your capacity to really get in touch with how do you trust life, and how do you get in touch with when life is giving you opportunities? Do you see abundance in different ways instead of just feeling as if there is a scarcity of abundance available to you, and so therefore the need to hold on to things as a way of feeling as if you're safe, which of course is the ultimate lesson with the second house, the solar second house, and Taurus. That's the Taurus archetype. It's about the universe is always going to bring you and provide you with everything that you need to evolve yourself through. And it's about just recognizing that total abundance is in that all the time, and being able to then through that process learn to share as a way of deeply, deeply trusting. Very cool thing. So a lot around you, a lot of themes around you would be people that are probably empowered around their sense of self-worth, and you're being influenced by how they get there and curious, and you're trying it out yourself, and of course developing your own ability to have resources available to you so that you can invest in them. And that's the big evolutionary cycle for you. Now, you've got Saturn still transiting through your solar first house, and of course this is a big deal in terms of Sagittarius, because you are evolving your sense of life direction. Okay, the solar first house is all about new instinctual change, new direction, new experiences. We do need new experiences in our lives in order for us to develop a more courageous way of embracing life. And that relationship that we basically develop through these new experiences always brings us greater abundance as well. So with Saturn still transiting that second house, that's that first solar house, and in your own sign, you're recreating yourself from scratch. And it can be really, really tough sometimes because Saturn doesn't give you little sweets and little pockets of cupcake candies all over the place and saying, oh, congratulations, congratulations. It's like, no, we've got some lots of work to do over here, and let's keep building, and you'll love your work when you've completed the actual construction itself. You'll love your masterpiece. So there's a beautiful reward at the end. I know for me, when I went through my Saturn first house transit, it brought me raising vibrations. So, but I had to work for it in that sense. So now, if we look at your solar third house, this is where the sun is today. And of course, the sun is having where all the neutrinos are moving through and affecting our neurocircuitry. And this is obviously dealing a lot with your communication, okay? So you'll find yourself having a lot more awareness around how we speak to each other, how we communicate, what's the right language to use, do I understand? And you're learning about just wanting to maybe even expand your intellectual capacity. So learning new things is a great opportunity with obviously the sun moving through the third house. And this has been here for quite some time, at least from the 21st of January. So, you know, this is a great opportunity to just look out around you and be inquisitive and curious and notice how people around you are offering opportunities to learn something new. And by the end of this transit, if you feel that that's something that that's staying with you, some information that's here, that's been presented in a way that will expand your sense of intellect and your ability to connect and do short-term communication, then you should consider that. Okay, so on the 3rd of February, if we have a look at the transits going now, we've got Venus actually moving into the constellation Aries, and that will be joining Mars. These two symbols are still in what is called a balsamic phase relationship. And this balsamic phase talks about our relationship to completion. So we're still in a completing cycle here when regarding these two symbols. So the way that you orientate yourself to these symbols here for you, Sagittarius, has got a lot to do with your creative pursuits, okay? Uranus has really been deconditioning the way that you express yourself. It's really been deconditioning the way that you find individuality. Matters of the heart have been a really strong theme for you since 2012. So with Mars and Venus now transiting your 5th house, I wouldn't be surprised if romantic experiences become even more stronger for you. And you find yourself really wanting to find an outlet of expressing creativity and wanting to be in joy and really, really loving just a life in that sense. So this is a great opportunity to really do fun stuff, okay? This is the universe way of saying, it's your turn, okay? What else do we have over here? We've got Mercury entering Aquarius on the 7th of February. And of course, when Mercury enters Aquarius, we also simultaneously have Jupiter begin its retrograde. So there's Mercury entering Aquarius at the exact same time that Jupiter goes retrograde. So as Mercury is now in its own house, its solar house, it will amplify the insights and awarenesses that will be coming your way. So this is a great opportunity to really get in touch with listening to things and repetitive messages, okay? And you'll notice this, a lot of more synchronicities will begin to happen for you. Jupiter retrograde in the 11th house is promoting, again, your ability to find friends, okay? And I just want to get back on track with regards to Jupiter retrograde for you. You know, Jupiter moving through your solar 11th house has really been changing the way in which you associate yourself with people. And it's been bringing a lot of good people to you, and you've been letting go of a lot of things that are not supporting your dreams and aspirations and ideals, okay? And with Jupiter moving into retrograde motion, it's saying, okay, whatever opportunities you felt that you didn't have or you missed, I'm going to revisit them for you, and then you can kind of make a choice again. Do you want to stay with the process, or do you want to adjust it in a way that maybe is different because you've reflected and wanted some hindsight on the experience? So this is a great opportunity to revisit, and you will have these opportunities come back in your life, and it's like making the choice again if you want to, around what types of groups you belong to and how do you associate yourself with, and what's your orientation to larger communities, and what ecosystem do you want to belong with. Okay. All right. So the first event, the second event, I would say probably for February, that's going to be a huge thing, is of course the solar, the full moon that's taking place between the sun and the moon, of course, and Leo. And this is a lunar eclipse. And this lunar eclipse is happening at 22 degrees. And for you, Sagittarius, this is all about your relationship to be accepted. What community do I belong to? And how does my truth feel in that moment? Okay. So you have a vision, you look at life and you say, this is the vision I choose to subscribe to. Then what's going to happen is you're going to look at that vision and say, okay, so are these friends and associates something that's inspiring me to be more creative with myself? Is my sense of vision encompassing what I feel is right in my heart? Do my sense of self-worth and abundance and ability to feel resourceful in myself permeate through this experience? And this will be a very, very strong theme for you for 2017, of course, because it's a lunar eclipse that's basically setting the tone for 2017. So if you haven't actually purchased or watched the presentation I did on the forecast for 2017, I highly recommend checking that out. I go into great detail in terms of how the transits as well as the lunar and solar eclipses are influencing us and setting the tone for 2017. Just send me an email and I'll exchange that. It's $10 and it's a really great opportunity to understand how to navigate through 2017, because it's definitely going to be a very interesting ride. Probably not as wacky as 2016, but definitely some changes coming our way. Okay, so on the 14th of February, we've got, this is a fantastic thing. I have to giggle though, because on the 14th, we've got the moon connecting with Jupiter. Okay, now Jupiter's retrograde, and it's also going to be making an inconjunct to Chiron. Okay, there's the green line, and that inconjunct is going to be creating this dynamic in which, you know, this is why I say I have to giggle, because the 14th of February is all about Valentine's Day, right? About love and the appreciation for our partners, and we do all these things. And yet, ironically, with Jupiter retrograde in conjuncting Chiron, it's like, these expectations, these conditions in which I would want to exist within, I don't want to be part of anymore. I don't want to have these responsibilities or these obligations or these expectations projected onto me. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be free. And yet at the same time, it's like a lot of broken hearts I feel will be taking place during the time just because of Chiron. You know, very much Chiron is about our wounding. So this is like, I'm going to watch it. Just watch the experience. It's going to be definitely going to be an interesting experience in terms of what happens on that day. So if we move along to the 18th and 19th of February, we've actually got the sun moving into Pisces. And of course, that now moves straight into your solar 4th house. And now you'll be dealing a lot with the home. Now, Sag, you've been definitely evolving your emotional reality towards what you have been like defining as nurture and as protection and as creativity. Okay, so the south node, which is situated right here, as you can see, there it is. Neptune, Chiron, and the sun are now coming up into this big party, and it's about realizing that, like, over the last year, you've been looking at reshaping the way that you find a home. Like, where do you belong? What is home to you? And of course, home represents our ability to feel emotionally nourished, and our conditioning patterns and the way that we look at stuff, and everything that has been imprinted in our lives growing up is now being immensely healed for you. So as you define yourself in a new way, Saturn in the 1st house, and you let go of the past, Neptune, Sun, South Node, Chiron, all in your 4th, you begin to establish an entirely new evolutionary direction. And of course, you're doing this through your ability to feel abundant, you know, and to follow your creative pursuits, and to then begin to also know what type of group to belong to. So this is a very, very important solar eclipse that's coming up for you, and that will be happening on the 26th of February. As you can see over there, the moon hits it, and there's the huge party in the 4th house. So By the 26th of February, you're really going to get into this nice feeling of like, I'm here. This is where I belong. This is where I feel like this is the place I would like to put my roots down. Or you're going to feel like, nope, still not the right place, and I've got to make it better. So you're looking to really become more homey and nurturing in that sense and find a place where your sanctuary exists. Okay. All right, my Sagittarius friends, thanks very much for listening to me share what I see happening for us for this month. And don't forget to check out any of the services that I've got if you're interested in learning your chart. That's an amazing product. If you want to look at any astrology readings, I've also got those available, and you can check that out in the description. My website link is there, or just email me. Okay. All right, guys, have a fantastic month, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.